Welcome back to Building the Boys. We now have issue 41 of Hachette's Disney Dolls House. Now this is a big one because we are attaching the main house that we've been working on so far to the basement that we've just finished working on. In this issue we're finished working on it. So in this one we've got an internal wall, which is key because that's going to provide a decent amount of structure to the centre of this, and some joists. So the joists are going to bring it all together. It's going to hold it nicely. We're then going to prep the whole thing to move this onto. Now, if you're panicked about this, don't be, because essentially we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8 tabs that we've got lined up, which isn't loads, and the bulk of those are in Mickey's room. So we'll figure this out. Okay, it's gonna be all right. We're going to glue along the joists that are going in, and then the whole thing's going to go on. When it goes on, I would strongly advise we focus on fixing Mickey's room, because all the most of these tabs are. So it's going to take a little wiggling, a little bit of wobbling about to get it on, but we're going to be all right. Now, I'm not about to film me actually doing that part, because it'll be impossible. I mean, without somebody filming me do it, I can't do it with the static cameras that I use. But don't worry about that. We'll get to that stage. We're going to take a look at the pretties that come in this one as well. We've got a very nice vanity screen for Cinderella's room. If you haven't yet, please remember to hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button if you're one of the thousands that watch but haven't subbed yet. But keep swinging by to see old man Scott here building this thing. Hit the subscribe button. It helps us massively. We are scarily close to our 1,000 subscribers, and the kids are chomping at the bit to get there. It would be very much appreciated. It really would. So let's get into this. Let's have a look at our vanity screen from Cinderella, and then start what's going to be a fairly epic issue, fitting the house to the base. So here is our Cinderella vanity screen, and really rather lovely it is too. It's very ornate. It moves the way it should. Now this will go in the corner of Cinderella's room to give her some modesty when she's changing. How she get that massive ball gown behind it is anyone's guess, but it's a beautiful thing. It's really lovely. I mean, again, Disney princess wise, the Cinderella room is just pure princess. It really is, and it's gonna look amazing when it's done. But isn't that a lovely thing? I think that's really, really pretty. Anyway, let's get into the final basement build and making this house into an absolute monster. Don't worry about it. We're going to be all right. Okay, so this is the piece we're going to be using first of all. This is our support wall. So let's get this prepped up. Now, I have test fitted all of this, so I know it's all good. We're not going to have any major problems, I hope. So we're just going to get this prepped and ready to go. So there's a glue along here, go all along this side here as well. On there. Get this section here too. Get that underneath of these tabs as well. Again, don't worry about your glue at this point. Just get these tabs here too. Here and here. Flip that one round. Little there, and a little there. And now we're going to bud this so we haven't got glue slopping everywhere. So we're just going to bud along there, make sure we've got a nice even coating. There we go, down here like that. Across there. And so yeah, we've used a lot of glue on this house so far, haven't we? Right, and then down there as well. Okay, so we should, fingers crossed, this is going to be snug, but I want it to be snug. I'm hoping this is snug, because I want it snug. I don't want it, you know, loose as hell fitting in here. Let's try this way around. Okay, encourage it into these slots here and here. And it will line up with the tabs underneath it. And then it should, he says, push down. And there we go. So that's that one in. Next thing we're going to do is move on to the joists. Okay, so you can see what I've done here. I've glued this section of the joist there. I've done the exact same thing on the other side. And this one is going to go in here, like so. And then we'll attach it to this other side here, like so. clean our glue off. There we go. And that's that joist in. Now we're going to do the exact same thing with joist number 2, which is this one here. So let's get this prepped. Just squidge on there, squidge on there, go along there, along here, flip it round, squidge there, along here. Don't worry about cleaning glue off any of this, because we're going to glue the top half of the house to it. So if it squishes over, that's fine, because you're going to squish it all up with glue anyway. Let's get this one in. That's that one in nice and snug. That one as well. Yeah, again, it doesn't matter about having glue on top, because the house is going onto this in a minute. Now we have one final beam. Let me move you over a little bit. One final little beam that's going to go in there. And I can show you what we're going to do with this one. So with this one, we're going to add glue here, in this L shape here, along there. And we do the exact same thing on the opposite end. So a little there, in this L shape, and a little there. That's it. And then this one, going to slot into there like that, and into there like that. Again, don't worry about your glue. Don't worry about cleaning off glue smear, because it's going to help bond the house to it. So that is how we are now looking. So this is what we're looking like now. So we've got these joists in here, and that is how we're looking. Okay, so we're happy. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to prep this to fit the main house to it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to apply the glue to it and show you exactly where the glue goes. So I'm going to do that now, and then we will do an aerial shot like we're doing now, exactly where the glue is on the model, so you know how to prep this for the installation of the ground floor. Okay, so here's how we're looking. So we've got all of our glue along here, along here, along here. You can see exactly where you need to go. What you don't need to do is put glue on the top of the tabs. So no glue on the top of that tab there, no glue on the top of that tab there, and none on the top of these ones here. It tells you not to glue the top of those. What I'm going to do is I'm going to use the old cotton bud technique here and give it a good coat all along, and then I'm going to install the top half of the house. So again, I can't really film me doing that, but I will do that, and I will tell you if I encountered any problems that I think maybe you will. I'll let you know what they are, and then we'll take a look. Okay, so here we go. I'm successfully installed. Was it easy? Kind of, yeah. Right, so the only tab I had any real problems with was the one on here on the Mickey house. Once you kind of get them lined up, it just slotted and dropped, so it wasn't a problem at all. What I am going to do is, until this glue is completely dried, I mean, it's going to be a good 24 hours before your glue is dry and bonded on this. I'm going to weight down the floors just to make sure we get the best bond we can possibly get, because I certainly don't want this coming away from the base. I mean, as more weight is added to the house, we're going to get an understanding of, I mean, it's going to weight it down anyway, but I just want to make sure we've got a solid bond. So I'm going to Yankee Candle it or something of hammer's weight, basically, just to press it down as much as I can. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is the last time we are touching this house until potentially March of next year, because we are working exclusively on Winnie the Pooh's garden. Let's have a chat and we'll talk all about it. That's that one done, and man, that was a big one. That was a big one. So it's key. It's looking good, and it went on. Now, are you gonna have problems with this? Probably, but don't panic. It's not going to be as easy as just dropping it fits. It's not. I mean, you might be that lucky, but it's unlikely you're going to be that lucky. So what's going to happen is you're going to put this on, and you need to find the sweet spot. Okay, so you can feel underneath where the tabs are, and it will then just drop. But the chances of it all dropping together are pretty slim. So the Mickey room was the problem for me. There was one tab that wasn't playing ball, and it was on that front left side, just wouldn't go. And it was slightly too far forwards, so I could see and feel where the problem was. So I was having to slightly push the wall in and then all of a sudden it was in, and it took about 15 minutes. I'd say it took about that long. But now it's in, and as I said, I've clamped it all down, I've weighted it because I want that to hold, and I want it to hold well. So I've put it out of sight, out of mind, so I'm not going to mess with it. Weighted it all down, clamped it all up, so now all I can let the glue do is do its work, hold it all in place, and then hopefully by tomorrow morning that thing will be nice and firm, and it's all done. You're gonna have problems with it, okay? That's the reality, so don't panic, okay? If you do not panic, do not force it. That's the one thing I can say, because it doesn't need to be forced. Once it finds its sweet spot, it will drop in. There is no reason for you to push pressure down on this, because if you do that, you're going to snap a wall, you're going to snap a tab, you're going to break the bottom. Don't do that, okay? You need to move the wall, right? Not apply pressure. You need to move the wall beneath it, because they are malleable, they will move until the tab lines up, and then it will go, I promise you. It might take a lot of trial and error. You might be lifting it off and put it back on, lifting it off and put it back on, but it will go. I promise you it will go. But don't force it. Do not force it, particularly at the end where Alice's kitchen is, because the one thing I can definitely feel in there is a lot of support in Mickey's room. So you can press down on the floor in Mickey's room, you can feel it's solid. You can do that in the Frozen room. The Alice room, because it has to allow for that drawer to slide in and out, doesn't feel as if it would take too much. If you push down on that too much, I think you could snap that floor or something worse. Don't do that. You've come too far to do that. So take your time, particularly with that Alice section. Take your time. It will line up. Use the channels on the back as well. The channels where the wires go, use that on the back as a sort of guide, so you know you've got it lined up. Because if those two channels line up, it's lined up, it's where it's supposed to be. So you will slot in. But as I said, I only had one real problem with that one tab in Mickey's room. The rest of it just dropped in. But good luck with it. If you need help, as I said, you can contact us at buildingwiththeboys@outlook.com. I'm also on the Facebook pages, so if you see me over there, give me a shout and I'll help where I can. But pictures are what I need. Pictures, videos even better. But pictures and videos of what the issue is, and we can see, okay, well, this is what you need to do. And we can fix it, okay? So this, again, is one of the most challenging things you're going to do with this build, because everything else now is done. We're just building up to it. And you can see from the outside edge of this thing, you can see where the channel's going to go. It looks like this stands on a presentation stand. It doesn't. We build that stand around it. It's attached to the house. So where you see those lines at the front are where the stand's going to build in and attach to the main house. Then we're going to have the like the deck at the front. That's going to attach over that, so you won't see any of that kind of that raw wood. You won't see that. Anywhere where you see raw wood's going to be covered up, you're not going to see it, so don't panic about that. But that's it. We're not touching that house now until potentially March. I mean, maybe February, but probably March, because we are solely on Pooh's basement. Now, that sounds like a lot, but it's not really. I mean, that's potentially 4 in November, 4 in December, 4 in January, 4 in February. It's 16 issues building Pooh's basement, which sounds like a lot, but it's not really. It's not, because Pooh's basement is a standalone build. Now, the first thing we will have 100% built in this house is Pooh's garden. That's done. That will be the first room that is completely complete in this house, because it's a standalone unit. And then once it's done, it's going to slot in and off we go. And we're going to be starting that one in issue 42. So in the next issue, we will be starting Pooh's basement with very little. Very little. It's going to be lightning fast on that one. But yeah, so we are moving away. Now, regards to what we've got left for the year. So we might get 2 more deliveries in this year. We should get one very late this month. And then one Christmas dependent. Might get it before Christmas, might be after Christmas, but I can see us being at stage 50 by the end of this year. So it's exciting times, but that's us done with the main house. We're not touching the main house for a long time. I mean, honestly, 3 months until we touch that main house again, potentially 4 months. It's all Pooh's basement. That's what we're doing now. So take this house, put it somewhere safe, allow it to dry, leave it alone, put it out of your mind, because we are literally building another house at this point in Pooh's basement. If you haven't yet, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. It helps us massively. If you do something nice for me, I'll do something nice for you. I'll dance at your wedding. I'll fill your ice cube trays. I'll flip your mattress. I'll paint your fence. One of those I'll empty your gutters. One of those god-awful jobs no one wants to do. Don't hold me to that. I'm a liar. I'm not going to do that. But hit the subscribe button anyway. In a world where you can be anything at all, just be nice. And I will catch you on the next one.